Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. Today we're going to be playing the Ghostlands. It's actually going to be 2,500 points this time. I'm going to be playing as the Khorne Demons, and we're going to be playing against the Orcs. As it is the Conquest objective, we're going to have a 60-point target with an 8-turn limit. So this is actually, I actually like the 60-point limit for the Conquest or Conquer objective, because it actually does force you to have to play really aggressively, because if you just leave them to not to get full points, then you're just going to get in trouble here and you'll lose. So I've got 2 Bloodthirsters, I've got 1 Demon Prince to buff, I have 4 Blood Masters, 2 Blood Crushers, and then I'm going with a Fleshhound army, just the maximum amount, and then I filled everything else in with the Bloodletters. I usually will get some Skull Cannons too, but I just feel like on this map here, because they have so much range, it's hard to get them into where they need to be. And so this is tough, because I don't know if you heard in the background there, maybe not over my talking, but you can hear the engines of the Deathcopters. So we know he has at least 1 Deathcopter, so we need to be very, very cautious while we're advancing here, because I don't want to have all my guys grouped up and then have him just double bomb strike me if he has multiple Deathcopters, because I don't know actually how many he can have. But he can fly almost, you know, a third of the way through the map and then bomb me. And then the issue is I don't have great ranged attacks. So then the following turn, when I kill the Deathcopter with my injured guys, it can explode and damage me further. And that would be enough to definitely kill some guys. And I don't think the Deathcopter strike by itself will be enough to kill any of my guys straight up. But, you know, any sort of flamer will kill my Bloodletters, obviously. But typically, unless they get a good roll, it usually takes 2 attacks with the flamers to kill the Fleshhounds. And I do need them to both use their flame attack if he goes with like a Gretchen squad to try to block the Conquer point, but also because they have that charge attack ability that'll allow them to attack organics. That makes them really good against fighting the Orcs, because you can run significant distances and also set up some flank attacks that you may not normally be able to do. And then I have the Bloodletters in case he decides to get some Death Dreads, vehicles, and then also to assassinate his heroes. And then, yeah, you can hear the engines there. So I've got my dual Bloodthirsters here. The big thing is I just gotta take it easy with them so I don't get them blown apart by flash gets or other Ludas, anything that could be real aggressive. Because most players, when you're playing against the Orcs, will do like a Flamer heavy build. And yep, here comes the Deathcopter. Looks like he's going to set up a missile strike right away, or a bomb strike. Yep. Alright, so he did drop his bomb on the Fleshhounds. That makes sense. I don't know why it's showing me all the way up to here. I've never actually had that happen on this map before. Alright, good. That's actually huge for us, because I was a little scared to engage, and if he would have just waited a turn or two, then it would have forced me to group up more. So you can see he's set up the firing lines here. So what you want to do in this situation, unless they're all set up at maximum range here, is you'd want to move 1 square and then have another one of those Fleshhounds move up 1, because each one of them, each attack can give you that furious charge ability to stack, and that'll get their evasion to be higher. Now, unfortunately, I can't charge them through to get through the flamers, because the flamer will just kill them. Now I can fly these guys up here and I can start chopping down those flash gets, because they're going to be huge problems for me. And this will force the flame attack here, which shouldn't do a whole lot to us. And let's hit here. Okay, good. And I could attack these guys. But man, I actually thought I was going to kill the flash gets more. I don't know if I've actually played against the Orcs since they reworked them with all that bonus health to the flash gets here. Because yeah, they're definitely pretty beefy here. Let's get you up to here. Try to aggro that flame attack. I was kind of hoping I was going to have him flame the flash gets, but I guess with him coming there, there was no guarantee that that was going to happen. If I move you to here, you can then use your flame attack, but you're not going to be able to do 105 damage. So let's just hit him again. Okay. That dropped him down to 1. So that's pretty huge for us. I could charge through here and get the kill. Yeah, he's got all these flamers. Okay, he does have some Gretchen. Most people will use Gretchen. Interestingly, it looks like he's got several knobs that have their axe. I guess since the Power Claw was nerfed so bad, maybe that makes sense. I wonder if he's going to have any Mega Knobs. Probably not, since he knows I'm going to have good armor-piercing guys, and since there's only 3 miles per squad, that means I'm going to get the kills. So I think going with the knobs is the best way to go. Alright, so he does have a war boss. That makes sense if he's going to have a big melee force, because that all the bosses watching will significantly buff him. He's got shit tons of flamers, as you can see there. And he also has a big mech. So what I would like to do is use these blood crushers. And maybe they can do enough damage to the Gretchen. He's got that freaking pain boy there buffing up his guy, so it's a bonus health. Well, let's run into here. Good. Damn it. That was not enough to activate the... I was hoping he was going to flame his own Gretchen and get the kill. But what I can do is bring you down to here. And then I can flame through. That'll kill the Gretchen. And then we can have him start working on the flash gets here. So we did a little bit of damage. And now, if I jump this guy over to here, I can then start attacking his big mech, and that would lock those other guys down. Oh, shit! But I did not buff him, because I wanted to get that increased damage in melee. Now, yeah, because that would have been that would have been extra 20 damage there. Alright, let's hit him again. Yeah, that would have been an extra 40 damage had I been buffed here. I can't believe how little damage I'm doing. I wonder if they reworked how the force field is working here, because it seems to be getting activated with melee attacks, and I thought it only gave you that damage reduction if it was ranged attacks. But I'm going to bring the blood crushers up to here, because the flamers should have trouble getting past them. And I'll use that to body block all these flamers over here. So then hopefully I can bring my lower tier units over to kind of help me get here. I want to kill that damn big mech though before he gets a bunch of points going, because we can't risk him strafing us or buffing up the shots of all of his units, because if he uses that tier 1 ability on his flamers, that's going to allow them to squad wipe anything with 1 attack. I'm not quite sure how these knobs are going to work though, because I don't see a lot of people use the knobs with the big choppas. But I also don't see people using the power claws anymore either. Alright, let's move these guys up so we can start stacking up their crit chances. He's only got a 65% chance to hit right now. Let's move you up here. That'll increase your armor piercing, because he's got a passive aura. If I get you up to here, this should increase his critical hit chance by 20%. Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that your hit chance is so low. Alright, good. That was good damage. Let's pull you back. You're stuck there. I could attack here, but then you're going to block the pathway. So I probably want to just move you up to here to get you into position so you can start engaging. I wonder how those big choppers are going to be at clearing out blood crushers. I think they're going to do pretty good. Because they do have, I think, 4 or 5 armor piercing. Yeah, I gotta take out these death copters though. If I bring you to here and flame, that's not gonna really make sense. I think we just charge here and kill this flash skit. Because these guys are already injured. Okay. And then maybe I run him up the back here. Now he will be able to flame and kill them. But it will kind of body block things a little bit to try to force him to waste attacks. And then he's still got movement left, so I can move him up one and then body block and engage the flash gets into combat here, so he can't get away, because I need to kill those damn flash gets. Yeah, I think I really screwed up by not buffing that Bloodthirster, because this would have actually buffed these guys too, and that would have been enough to kill the Deathcopter. So now I have to waste a second attack here. Let's bring you guys up to here. Now you could charge into these guys. You can't charge into the big mech because it's too far. I could have you flame, but I don't think I can guarantee you'll get the kill. Because he has such low armor piercing. I really hate how it says you have a movement option to move through the unit. You actually don't. It just counts as automatic suppression, and it wastes your movement, so don't be fooled by that. Alright, let's move these guys up. Let's start stacking up our bonuses. Let's get you here for additional armor piercing. Okay, that wasn't actually that good. Alright, let's pull you back. Let's pull you back to here. Because these guys don't have armor, so that explosion will really mess you up. We'll attack there. Okay. And then we can pull you back to here to open that path. And then these guys can come up. I'd really like to block the path on the other side too, but I don't think that's going to be feasible, so maybe we just charge into the knobs here and try to just get some zone of control, and that'll stop the other knobs from being able to run around.
Don't they know who we are?
It's so weird how they're breaking the cohesion there. Actually, maybe if I charge into here, that'll break his zone of control. And then maybe I can move the blood crushers up and get what I wanted. Yep, perfect, perfect. So that's going to waste his attacks there. Because the knobs, I think, are going to be the most dangerous unit that I have to worry about right now, other than the flash gets, obviously. And then maybe we'll just bring you up to here and attack here. Okay. Actually, I was expecting that explosion to do more damage. Alright, can I bring you up and shoot that Mega Knob, I wonder? Or Big Mech, not Mega Knob. 38% chance to hit. 20. Yeah, so depending on how much damage I would have got on those attacks, that could have been enough to kill that Big Mech. Damn it. I hope. Yeah, see, that's bad, because the Big Mech, actually, with how he's been reworked, is he's got actually a pretty powerful range attack. So I guess it's going to come down to how much damage those knobs can do to the Bloodthirster. Yeah, I don't think I want to flame. I mean, if I came over there and I flamed through, I could hit 3 different guys. I think we just need to keep focusing down on killing knobs, though. Now, he may just come over and heal it with his pain boy. Alright, so we got that. I just got to be very cautious about stacking up my guys, though. Because I don't want those burner boys to come over and just start killing me. Because that's actually the biggest threat here, is I got to try to have our guys tank as many attacks as I can while we're trying to get our other guys into position. And then I need to summon in a bunch of additional units. Let's move you up one. And I kind of hate to sacrifice you to charge into those burner boys, but that will force him to just stay over here and stop the burner boys. Well, yeah, because if they should theoretically survive this attack, assuming he doesn't use his tier 1 ability, because he should have 1 command point from the kills I've been doing. But if he doesn't, and you can survive, then that'll force him to waste 2 attacks here. But yeah, those orcs just have so much health that we have to get through. Alright, so we got these guys here, got you there, still have you. If I bring you to here, this should give an additional armor to everybody. In case they do get over here to flame. But then he's not going to be able to get into combat. If I pull these guys back, that would force them to have to come towards me instead of potentially burning them and then pulling away. So let's do that instead, actually. Because I think he's going to want to kill those guys for sure. Alright, so points are slightly in our favor. Because I have more units than he does in the controls. Damn! Even at zone 1, or range 1, they still did surprising amount of damage. Alright, let's see what they can do. Oh, so with their big axes, they actually still do 3 attacks there. Oh my god. Alright. Yep, here comes the burner boys. Those are some very cooked flesh hounds. Alright, that's bad. Yep, these guys are dead. Not surprised by that. Here come the knobs. Yeah, those guys are flaming there. They survived, as we expected. Yeah, damn. I was not expecting them to do that much damage. Yeah, see, at least these blood crushers are doing what they're supposed to. Yep, good. That's wasting the flash gets attack. Alright, well my blood crusher body blocking seemed to have worked out pretty well. Alright, flesh hounds are there. Yeah, those guys will finish him off most likely.
Right through the armor.
Alright, so he's just keeping the boss in the background, I think, trying to keep him safe. Alright, and he's doing the same thing. He's body blocking except with his knobs there. Ah, shit. I thought those guys were going to be in cover by being on the stairs there. Ah, he said screw it. He's going to bring the war boss up. That way he's got the bosses watching. And he probably wanted to have the pain boys up there too. So that way he has the bonus health going to his guys. So I guess that makes sense. Alright, well, I can get the Demon Prince all the way up to here. And this should help him, because these knobs are injured, so this guy should be able to just kind of screw him up. Yep, alright. He did okay. Let's use our bonus attack, or our free attack. Okay. I was kind of thinking you were going to squad wipe him, I'm not going to lie. Well, maybe what I'll do is just run everybody up here. And then we can stack up those crits. I did that backwards because if this guy would have came up, then I could have gotten it up to 30. If I get you to here, then you can finish off those guys and you'll be available to help increase the health or the attacks of the bloodletters. Or I can just increase everybody's attacks, power, and melee accuracy. Because that buff lasts a couple of turns. The Flesh Hounds aren't going to be able to charge into that mech due to the corner. Those knobs are going to be hard to get through. I'd really like to kill the flash gets, but he used the bonus attack, or the buff with his knobs here, so they should take extra melee damage, and they certainly do. Alright, so that was huge. If I bring you up to here in flame, you should be able to kill several models. Okay. I mean, you did, but I was thinking it was going to be more than that. I can run you all the way around to attack the big mech. I don't think that's going to be enough damage to kill him, though. I mean, what I'd really like to do is get those Bloodmasters into here, because they can actually mess up knobs pretty badly. Alright, so you got 3. 1, 2, and I get you to 3. You could actually attack the Pain Boy, potentially. So let's do that. Yeah, I mean, while I want to kill these guys, I want to kill the Pain Boy instead. In fact, had I really thought about that, I might have been able to kill those guys sooner. Alright, nice. So we one-shotted the Pain Boy. So that'll make it so we have a lot less HP to have to cut through. Still got these guys. I think we gotta just move the Blood Crushers over here. It's a 100% chance to hit.
Violence and death.
I just can't make up my mind. Let's have you charge into here, because I think you're gonna die. Yeah, because if I did 1, I can't flame. So I couldn't finish off the big mech. So I guess we're gonna just have to start chomping with these guys here. If I bring you over to here, then you can buff. Maybe we can get an extra Bloodletter? Nope, we got another Bloodmaster. Alright, well, I was willing to roll the dice, I guess. Alright, 75% chance to hit. Maybe we charge and just do a little bit of damage. Oh, shit. I forgot that they would get a reaction fire for that, because they have their choppas, which are just the pistols. This would lower their accuracy and their movement. But I don't know if that's really going to matter against these knobs. Alright. Yeah, it's decent damage. Can I pull you out of here, or are you going to get suppressed, I wonder? Because I would like to just rotate through with all these guys. Ah. Alright, that's unfortunate. Well, your flame is still available, so let's just hide you over here. That means you're coming over this way.
Towards the slaughter.
You can start chopping the burner boys then. And then I guess that means we're just gonna fight over here.
Right through the armor.
Yeah. I was kind of hoping that if I attacked there, that would break these guys' zone of control. Does not look like that happened, though. That was a charge attack, I thought, so I was thinking that was not going to get them attacked.
Their blood will flow.
Well, let's get you over to here. Let's summon some more guys. Alright, we got some flesh hounds. So maybe what I'll do is bring them over to here and force some attacks there, and also get some zone of control with the flash gets. I can bring you over to here.
I am the Bloodmaster.
We'll hide you. I can bring these guys up here and lock down those guys. Yeah, I really wanted to get you up here to try to attack. Well, let's see what happens. Fuck. Alright, well.
Violence and death.
That's unfortunate. Well, you know, in exchange, I guess we'll summon in some more guys. Another Bloodmaster. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, at least it'll be buffing guys' armor penetration and get some additional armor, and hopefully help me get them. I mean, since we're already at tier 2 with our command points,
The blood must flow.
I feel like we should just sit back, and especially if he groups up, then I can use my tier 3, which should do a ton of damage to these orcs. If I bring the Bloodmaster up to here, that'll lock this area down. I can bring you to here, since that seems to be full cover. You can keep hiding, because I need to keep you alive. Yeah, that damn big mech would have been dead if I would have buffed my guys. That pisses me off. Maybe you can crit? Nope. Yeah, he would be dead. That might have just cost me the game, because if he does a double attack with his big mech, that should be enough to kill my Bloodthirster. And I really need him to survive to tank all these flame shots and get rid of the flash gets and the knobs. Let's see. I don't think I have guys grouped up enough that strafing run should really mess me up. I mean, I guess he could strafe me around that corner potentially. Alright, so 5 to 10, or 20 to 10. So yeah, finishing off the Flesh Hounds, that makes sense. Flaming through there, killing the Bloodthirster. I mean, that's a good thing about the Bloodmasters, is because they're a hero unit, the Flamers are not super good at killing them. Yeah, there's the... Alright, what's he doing? Strafing run. I was actually expecting him to come from the other angle there. But I guess his thought is probably that the Bloodletters are going to be able to be killed with the Flamers. So yeah, he'll come down, flame through here. So there goes those Bloodletters. Yeah, the ones that are buffed, unfortunately, by our Demon Prince. Huh. I mean, I guess that makes sense, because the Shuda has all that splash. I guess his thought is he wants to probably fight the Demon Prince? I'm not quite sure what the thought process is there. So the Blood Crusher is dead. Alright, those guys are still alive. Flamers coming over to finish off those guys. Yep, here comes... Yeah, see, if you would have just done double attack there. Yeah, okay, so that's what happened, is he wants to bring those guys down here to start smacking into the Demon Prince. And then he's body blocking again. Alright, interesting. This is actually... What am I going to do here? Now... Let's see. If I get you over to here, you can start attacking those knobs. We are up to 3, so we for sure want to do this. If I attack here, I'm going to be short of the big mech. And I think I need to try to guarantee his death, because he's got so much stuff over here. I think I'm going to struggle to get through it to guarantee an attack. So let's move you up. If you charge, you'll charge from there. So let's move you to here. Now I can kill the big mech, and it'll do a shit ton of damage to everybody else. So let's do that. Nice. Big mech is down. And I can charge into here. You can start taking out those knobs. Nice. I could start on the burners, but I think I'd rather come over here and get a rear attack against the war boss. Not quite sure why he's facing that way, because it's gonna allow me to get attacks here. I guess he didn't think I was going to make it through there. I could have you come over here and fight the Burnas. So the question is, do I want to take out the Burnas or the freaking knobs? I think I want to get the Burnas. Okay. They're still going to be alive. Okay, good. Alright, and... actually, this guy's about ready to be able to get empowered. So let's just finish those guys off. So if I kill this knob, which I should be able to at an 85% chance to hit, these guys do not have zone of control. There's so many targets here. I think I gotta go for the knobs here. Okay, and we'll attack here. Okay, and you finish them off. Oh my god. Or not. Well, there's just one there, so that's not too bad. Alright, you're to here. So, if I run you across here, I could attack the war boss. Because I'd really like to take the war boss, because he's actually the most dangerous unit on the field right now. So if I bring you over to here,
Violence and death.
you can attack there, and you shouldn't get an attack back. Nice. And then you can come over here, and you're already injured, so I don't care if you die. That'll finish off the war boss. And now he shouldn't have access to command point abilities anymore. And then you can come up to there, potentially. Alright, let's have you just start attacking these guys.
My turn now.
You can attack here. Alright, finish those guys off.
I am the Bloodmaster.
Yeah, let's just move you up to here. So now the burners are locked down by your zone of control. And then I can bring you up to attack the burners here. Oh my god, you missed! Alright, let's get you over to here. Attack the flash gets, because they're the most dangerous unit right now. Alright, I need to kill more orcs so I can get zone of control here. If I move you up to here, you can then attack the burner boys. Okay, good. And now they're locked down. If I move you through here, if that means if he tries to flame you, he'll have to flame through his own units, but I might need to have them to be there to get points. So here we go. If I can move you all the way up to here, start attacking the flash gets. I'll definitely get a kill, unless I whiff my attack, and then I can move up another one and attack again. Alright, this is... there we go. I think we got this. Boom. Slapped them. Movie up one. Attack again. Let's... well, do I want to empower? No, it's only going to do 22 to 30. And this increased damage only lasts for one turn. So let's just surge, because we can get the kills. Okay, nice. I'm actually surprised you got such little momentum for those kills. I'm not quite sure what's up with that.
Violence and death.
Alright. And now we've got this totally on lockdown. So we'll move you over to here. So if he tries to flame those guys, he'll have to flame his own. Still got those burners there. So maybe what we'll do is bring you up to here. To body block. So let's do that. And then you guys can come over to here and lock him down. And we still got that guy here, but that's a nothing.
Lord of Rage, command me.
Alright, let's move you up one.
Whatever
There you go.
to man.
Nice. Yep, they're down. Oh, there goes my beloved Bloodthirster. That's alright, he did what he had to do for me. Alright, so you almost got to 2. Let's move you around here and keep attacking.
Blood for the Blood God. I am the Blood Master.
Alright, get you over to here. Start working on taking out those flash gets. You can finish off the guys here. He's down. You'll summon more guys the following turn. Not that I think I'm going to need it.
Violence and death.
Alright, and we could charge through there. Could also get you around the side here. I think I'd rather do that, because if I can just table him, I'll bring this to a close.
Careful, we're up for touch. Blood for the Blood God.
Alright, and we'll bring you up to here. And you can start smacking this guy down.
Hungers for your blood.
Nice.
I am the Blood Master.
He's down. Move you up to here. Kill this flash git. That should take at least 2 attacks, I imagine.
Pitiful. Violence and death.
Alright, we'll charge through here. You better not freaking shit the bed again and miss. There you go. Overwhelmed them. Attack again.
Blood God.
Nice. And we tabled our opponent. So that worked out pretty well for us. We killed 4 flash gits, a big mech, 4 burner boys, 2 death copters, 4 knobs with their giant axes, 1 Gretchen, and some pain boys. We can see our demon priest, bloodmaster, blood are all 100%, which can't be right because we saw that they missed. So that means it either bugs out and doesn't give you the attack, or it's not calculating it correctly. Bloodletters are anywhere from 70 to 100% accurate. Fleshhounds are pretty much 100% accuracy. Not one missed an attack there. Otherwise 100% with their ranged attacks, which makes sense since there are flamers here. Because even if you're grazing and doing 0 damage, it still counts as a hit. So overall, it was definitely a real fun match. It seems like on the end game here, like I just totally obliterated him. But his one turn here could have totally changed the whole aspect here. I think, you know, if I was to do this again, I really like this kind of build against the orcs. Using, especially on a map like this that has a lot of choke points, that actually makes it really hard for both a melee orc force and the chaos demons here, because you have to get through those units, and then both of our forces have tons of HP. So by using the blood crushers, or like he used the knobs, you could see how well that can lock things down. And actually those axes are pretty impressive. The power claws are a big letdown now that they've been nerfed, but those big axes, I definitely would consider, big choppers I guess I should call them. I would definitely make me, he made me reconsider my thoughts on there. I was kind of down on them, but actually, you know, they're really good at single unit kills, so I bet that means that helps them really chop down vehicles and things too, because they were doing surprising amounts of damage to my Bloodthirster. And you could buff them with their damage buff, and then that'll stop them from getting suppressed if they're charging. And then if you do have the war boss there, then he'll give you the war boss's watching ability, and that will allow you to get additional melee accuracy. And that actually stacks now too. In the past it wouldn't stack, but now it does. So if you brought a couple of war bosses with you and you want to do a melee army, that would definitely work out really well for you. The Fleshhounds are really good against organics, especially if they have a little bit less health, so they're exceptional against like the Astra Militarum units. They still are very effective against the orcs because a lot of their orc infantry don't have a lot of armor. Now, he prudently didn't bring a Mega Knob with him because that would have been very easy for the Bloodletters to kill. And even with their splash damage, they would have trouble killing enough of the Bloodletters to do squad wipes there. And then the Bloodmasters and everybody else has so much armor piercing that they can usually kill it. So I totally agree with him not bringing those guys with. Now, interesting that he brought the War Boss, but then he seemed kind of worried to bring him into melee. Kind of mixed feelings on that. I mean, he's one of the best melee heroes in the game, and he has quite a bit of splash. I think he actually might have more splash than the Bloodthirster does now that I think about it. But his shoot has also been significantly upgraded too. And with all that splash damage it has, it still does really good damage. So as you can see, he was able to kill a whole squad of Bloodthirsters, so or Bloodletters. So you know, I guess it still worked out effectively for him, but he was kind of non-committal with those attacks instead of just getting in there. And then the other thing is he has the free attack with the squig, and then he also has the rocket launcher too, and that has a bunch of splash damage as well, so that could have been very effective to help him kill some Bloodletters and things too. But again, I think when he's like, hey, my shoot is so damn good, why use the other things? And I think that makes perfect sense. I agree with not bringing the skull cannons. I think they're kind of hard to use on this map, because even if you charge through, you can do a bunch of damage, but then you just can't shoot the following turn because you're going to be locked down. So overall, I really thought my build was pretty effective here. I almost screwed myself by not buffing the Bloodthirster on the first turn. One thing I really don't like is that when you're using your flying ability, this is one of the few units in the game that when you're using your jump ability, it lowers his accuracy pretty substantially. So as you can see, he was only hitting at like a 70% chance. Once you fly around, unless you can get behind the unit and you can bypass their evasion and your accuracy penalty, so you can help negate that with the Demon Prince, plus that buff will increase your melee damage, and that lasts for a couple of turns. So then he would have been, if he survived, then he'd been able to do additional damage, because I think I could have killed that big mech much quicker. Now, he went with the strafing run. I think his thought process was as well, I'm clearly sniping his big mech, so he's not going to survive, so I might as well just use my command point abilities. With how powerful your tier 1 command point ability is, I think if he would have just spammed that, he would have killed those flesh hounds much easier and kind of cleared out a lot of my units to really open things up for him to start maneuvering a little bit better and get some additional kills of my units here. And then unfortunately he had the War Boss facing the wrong direction. I think he was maybe thought that I wasn't going to be able to kill those flesh hounds, but that allowed me to just move around, get attacks, and then not get attacked back. And when you're attacking the rear or sides, you have increased chance to hit. And whereas if it would have been a face-to-face encounter, because of how good his melee combat skill is, my chance to hit would have been a little bit lower, and I would have had a little more trouble getting the kill. And even if I did still get the kill, I would have at least suffered quite a bit of damage back with his melee attack. And that's one of the things I really hate about the Bloodthirster as well, is he does that stupid hokey pokey kick that does like 50 to 60 damage instead of hitting with his weapon like everybody else in the game does. So I think they should just take that away. And so then if you're, gonna fight a Bloodthirster, you freaking have to worry about him dropping the axe on your ass. And that way it really encourages you to be a little more strategic when you're playing, because I still think the Chaos Demons don't feel great with how they are. Now, I could have used the tier 1 command point ability to lower his accuracy and movement. That could have been a good option too if you would have had more of a ranged build going, but the Flamer still hit at 100% accuracy, and I wasn't sure how much the accuracy penalties would really hurt the knobs as long as that War Boss was alive, because with all those buffs that they get, they would still be hitting at a pretty high percentage. So I really wanted to get that tier 3 ability so I could nuke a lot of his squad that was in the center here, because they're going to be congregating together with the Conqueror objective, because you need to have the bodies there to get a lot of the points here. The only other thing I would mention is, the big mech, he's really good now at armor piercing single unit damage. So if he would have just sat back and shot me a couple of times with his regular cannon there, that would have allowed him to easily kill that other Bloodthirster, because once he got free movement, he can just run around the map and kill everybody. So that was a little bit of a misplay on his end. I think the force field, though, I was a little surprised when I was attacking the big mech. It seemed like that was getting activated, so I don't know if the animation is just inappropriately going off, or if the force field has been reworked or is bugged out where it's actually giving him the damage reduction with both melee and range, because in the past it used to only be activated with ranged attacks. And then he got a little too overexcited with the Death Copters, so he ran them in right away to drop those bombs. I mean, it did slow down my forces, so I think that was probably part of his thought, is I can stall you out for a turn or two and then get additional points to kind of pull ahead, which, you know, makes sense. With the Conqueror here, it you know, the most amount of points you can get is 15 per turn, unlike the Season Hold, where you get points depending if you're the attacker or defender, 5 per unit that's on the squad on the box here. So, you know, that kind of limits it. Now, with it being 60 points, I actually really like it. I haven't done a lot of these Conquerors at the 60 point, but that creates you to this sense of urgency, like, shit, you need to be pushing here, because if you just let him sit there for 4 turns, he'll win unless you have guys on the cap there. So I actually really like that. I think this 8-point target, 60-point target, 8-turn limit is actually really smart, and I actually really like that as being the setting here. In terms of little tweaks here, you know, I see what he's doing with the knobs, perhaps getting rid of the Death Copters and going with a Weird Boy instead, so you could use the finger poke to blind my units, and then also to give you the Warpath ability to give you a damage reduction and increased damage output. You know, having one of those Weird Boys could have been incredibly powerful for you. You know, the big mech, he's really good. I mean, I guess if his force field is activating on both melee and ranged attacks, I think it makes perfect sense to bring him. But otherwise, you know, I'm going to be bringing mostly a melee force, since the Chaos Demons don't have much for ranged attacks. So if the force field is not getting activated on your other units, then I think using those points to get a different unit, like getting the Weird Boy there instead, would have been a huge boon. And then obviously you need to have your backbone being the Burner Boys, because you know I'm going to have tons of infantry here. And then I think using those knobs with the big choppers is perfectly reasonable, because clearly they would have chopped through any of my higher tier units and summoners to get through there. So, you know, had he had just held the line a little bit better, had some repositioning, and then just waited a turn or two to drop that bomb with the Death Copter, I think that this would have been a very, very close match. But everything kind of fell apart on that turn once he started to group his guys together and then wasn't getting all those kills. You know, I really lucked out on the RNG that he didn't take out that Bloodthirster when he was attacking it. He made him waste an attack with the big mech, because again, had he just shifted down and focused on that other Bloodthirster, things would have fell apart, because I really needed those Bloodthirsters to do substantial damage to those flash gets, and then the knobs to help me get through them to damage them with my other units. So without him being able to snipe those units down, that definitely really hurt his potential. And then I just also really lucked out that I was getting the Bloodthirsters, or not Bloodthirsters, the Bloodmasters, because they're really good at taking out knobs and kind of higher HP units because of their high damage potential to a single model in the splash. Whereas the Bloodletters and things are better at sniping out single unit targets. And actually, when you're fighting squads that have tons of different models, they actually kind of fall apart a little bit, because they just don't have the damage potential to chop through it all the way, as you could see by them having trouble getting through the knobs themselves. So with that, I'm going to call quits here for the day. Oh, the only other thing is, you know, bring more Pain Boys. Because had he had a Pain Boy on each side, that I would have struggled to get through those guys as well, especially if he had the Weird Boy. And then you can tell he's a good player, because a lot of people will default on these kind of matches to getting lots of Gretchen, and they think, oh man, I'm going to just be able to body block everything. But any little flamer or anything, especially since their HP has been decreased, even with the buffs with the Pain Boy, you'll still get flamed through. So that's sometimes a trap for newer players, is to just get lots of Gretchen there to just body block things. But obviously this guy did not fall for that. He probably had a few remaining points, and he's like, screw it, we'll get a Gretchen here. And so he brought it onto the field. And it did make me have to set up a couple of guys to get sacrificed to try to get in to attack that big mech. But definitely excellent job by our opponent. I was just able to slightly outmaneuver him here. He had a few different poor positioning of his units that I was able to take advantage of, and then snipe his HQ unit down before he was able to get the full 3 command points. Because just like how mine is very powerful, but it's more spread out as just single target range with like 30 damage, his is that bombing run, and that's like 150 damage to the unit it nukes, and then 30 to 50 damage to everything around it. So that would have done substantial damage to my chaos forces, especially because by the end of this, a lot of my guys were getting pretty injured. So that would have allowed them to get to additional kills there. So thankfully, I was just able to really jump in there and get that kill. So yeah, that would be my feedback here, but definitely a really fun match. I was really not sure which way it was going to go until after turn 3, when I was starting to say, okay, I really didn't screw myself too much, because I, like I said, made some major mistakes by not buffing my Bloodthirster there. And, you know, had either of those Bloodthirsters missed any of their attacks, that would have been absolutely catastrophic. So that's why I really like that, or why I think the Bloodthirster should be actually reworked a little bit, so it encourages really aggressive melee, suicidal, charging attack situations. Get that accuracy debuff taken away from his jumping ability, so it encourages you to overextend and get in there, and then take away his ability to summon in units, because that's one of the things I find people use, is they just use them as a regular summoner, and that's as you should. But then you really, it just seems kind of counterintuitive. I mean, a Bloodthirster needs to freaking be in combat and getting kills. Use all your other units to be summoning an additional support. So with that, I'm going to sign off for the day. I hope you're enjoying this match, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed playing it. I don't think it's any secret that I really like playing this guy. I was going through and deleting old multiplayer matches to get some room on my hard drive, and I saw a lot of our old matches here, and all of them have been really good. So I've really enjoyed playing this player. He's very, very good. So with that, take it easy, guys. If you're enjoying these videos, if you please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.